Hey guys, today we're going to do the 3-in-1 throwdown. We're going to put the 3D1 versus Griot's Garage Fast Correcting Cream versus Uno Protect versus Menzerna One-Step Polish. So I have a 2012 Chevy Silverado that belongs to a friend of mine. It's black in color and it has severe water spot edging in the clear. So we're going to test these out to see how they fare against the water spot edging. These should help get out moderate paint defects or paint issues. The water spot etching on this truck is probably going to fall somewhere in between moderate to severe. So I'm excited to test these products out and see how they fare. The only one I have experience with is 3D1. I've been very happy with it. But I said, hey, let's try something else out. Let's see if there's something else better out there than 3D1. So without further delay, let's get into the video and let's perform the test on these products. Alright guys, so as we get into the video, we'll take a look at this fender. Unfortunately, the lighting wasn't the best, but if you look closely, you can see the etching that I'm talking about. So we're going to split this panel up. This happens to be the right front fender. We'll split it up into 4 sections, and we'll use each one step on each section of the fender. So these are the compounds I'm using again: 3D1, Griots, Menzerna, and Rupes. And we're going to start out with the Rupes Uno Protect. So as we prepare to buff this first section, we'll go with the Rupes first. We'll use a brand new or clean Eurofiber pad. We'll put 4 dots of the Rupes Uno Protect on the Eurofiber pad, and we'll put a dot of the Uno Protect on the fender. Then we'll spread it out over the panel, and then we'll buff. So we're going to start on a low setting to spread the compound, polish, one step, whatever you'd like to call it, out. And then we're going to up the speed of the polisher. So in this video I have these clips sped up, so I know you guys don't want to sit here and watch me buff for 4 or 5 minutes straight. But on this first pass we went 2 minutes, and I stopped at 2 minutes because I was not seeing any progress. So we're going to add some more Uno Protect onto the panel. We're going to spread it out, and we're going to buff again, and we're going to see if we see any progress on the defect removal. This go around we're going for 3 minutes. As I said, I've sped the timing up on the buffing, so it won't be 3 minutes on the actual video, but it was 3 minutes before I sped the video up. So as I'm looking at this product work, I'm starting to think maybe this isn't meant for moderate to heavy defects. This may be for something that's less severe. I have seen people talk about this product and people do like it, but as of right now it's just not getting the job done. It's not removing the defects. So we're going to finish this 3-minute cycle time out, and then we're going to take a look at the panel to see what we think about it. One thing I can say is this product does wipe off very easy, but if you look at the panel you can still see the etching. It did cut it down some and it did blend it in or camouflage it to the panel. Looking at it head on, you really can't see anything. If you look at it from an angle and you get the light on it, you can see it. So as I said, looking at it head on, it's not as noticeable, but when you look at it from the side, it's noticeable. And I imagine something like this will be noticeable in the sun as well if you take it outside and look at it in the daylight. Next up is the Menzerna one-step 3-in-1 polish. All these products that I'm using were purchased off Autopia.com, in case you're wondering, and I'll have links to each product down in the description. But we'll do the same thing with this. 4 dots on the pad. We'll use a new pad or a clean pad, and on this one we're going to put 2 dots on the fender. We're going to pat it out, kind of spread it around the panel. Then we're going to start on a low speed, spread it out, and then we'll ramp the speed up. So the Menzerna did come out of the gate strong. It was cutting down the etching and it was doing a great job doing so. But after a few minutes, the abrasives, I guess, degraded in the one step and it wasn't cutting as much at that point. But I went ahead and I worked this first cycle for 4.5 minutes just to see how it would do. So we'll go ahead and finish working it, and then we'll kind of take a look at it and gauge. I do want to note, however, on this area that I'm buffing right here, I couldn't get good pad rotation due to the contour of the fender. The area at the bottom of the pad, or the bottom below the buffer, just didn't offer good rotation at that point. So to get it to fully rotate, you couldn't have it 100% on the panel. So in this area, it didn't get the greatest cutting, but it did all right. It held its own for the most part for what it is. Alright, so we're finished with the first pass. We're going to add a few more dots of the Menzerna to the panel. We'll spread it out and we'll work it again. On the second pass, we worked it for 2 minutes. On the second pass, it was pretty much the same as the first pass. It came out of the gate strong, but the abrasives diminished very fast. So at this point, it's just basically polishing and putting protectant on the fender. But I'm going to go ahead and finish it out for the full 2-minute pass. Then we'll wipe the residue off and we'll take a look at it. Alright, as we wipe away the residue, it's kind of hard to tell in the camera, but it did leave some defects behind. It just didn't pick it up great on the camera itself due to the lighting and the angle, but it did perform better than the Menzerna, so I'll give it that. It's not terrible, but for the price per ounce, I would expect a little more out of the Menzerna one step. Alright, next up will be the Griot's Garage Fast Correcting Cream. This is part of the Boss system, or the Best of Show system. So we'll use another Euro fiber pad. We'll make sure it's new. We'll do the same process. We'll prime the pad with 4 dots of the Griot's Fast Correcting Cream and then put a few dots on the panel itself. Now we're going to spread it out before we start buffing. Again, we'll start off on a low speed to spread it out, and then we'll increase the speed to a normal working speed, and then we'll work the panel and we'll see if any of the defects come out. Alright, so once again I want to remind you guys that I did increase the video playback speed during the buffing process. I didn't want you to have to sit through and watch me buff for 5 minutes. On this first pass with the Griot's Correcting Cream, it was initially a 4.5 minute pass, and it is making progress, so I'm kind of happy with that. Alright, so we're midway through the first pass on this section of the fender, and the Griots is surprising me. I can visually see it cutting down the etching. It hasn't removed it 100%. On this first pass, I went 4.5 minutes. So we'll finish this pass out and we'll see how it looks. I know there are some people out there that don't believe or don't think that Griots is a professional tier detailing product, or they don't put out professional tier detailing products, but this is holding its own right here, and I'm actually surprised. It's doing very well. Alright, so we finished with the first pass. We're going to make a second pass. We'll buff this section out again, and we'll see how we look. On this section, we'll only buff it 2 minutes. The Griots did produce results, and as of right now, it's first place as far as results go. Alright, so as we near the end of this, tell me if you guys have any other one steps that you like. Leave them in the comments and let me know, and I'll check those out. But these are probably the 4 that I think are probably the most popular on the market right now. Alright, as we look around, you can see that the Griot's Correcting Cream did dust. So this is the first product out of all the products that dusted, but we'll take a little bit closer look. You can still see some of the defects in there, but it did do a good job on cutting them down. So I believe a customer would be satisfied with the looks of this compared to how it looked before we did the one step. And as with all the others, the Griot's garage did wipe away easily. Next up, we'll go with the 3D1. This is the only one step out of all these I'm testing that I have experience with, and it works really great. I've been happy with the performance of it. And we'll do the same as we did with the others. We'll put a new pad on, a Eurofiber pad, and we'll prime the pad with 4 dots of the 3D1. If you're wondering why I'm using a squeeze bottle, I broke the cap on the 3D1, so I had to put some in another bottle that I could use. But anyway, we'll go ahead and spread this out. We'll start off on a low speed, spread it on the panel, and then we'll bump the speed up, and then we'll work the product in. Alright, as we start working in the panel, the 3D1 is going to work immediately. It is cutting down the defects, and I'm very satisfied with what I'm seeing just on this first pass alone. It's doing an outstanding job. So right now, just from the looks of it, I would have to give the edge to 3D1, but we'll go ahead and finish this pass out. This pass is 4.5 minutes. Alright, as we get to the end of this buff cycle, I'm probably going to stop it here and I'm not going to work a second cycle. I think I've seen all I need to see with the 3D1, and I believe 3D1 is probably going to take the crown in this competition. It's done very well, but we'll finish this out and we'll wipe it and we'll look. Then we'll kind of pan out and we'll look at all 4 sections, and I'll let you be the judge on what you think is best. Alright, as we pan the panel, that's the Rupes Uno Protect. This one is the Menzerna. You can kind of see the defects the Menzerna left behind. Now we go to the Griot's garage. Griots did great. It's probably going to take second place in this contest, but now we're looking at the 3D1. 3D1 did outstanding. I was not going to say I'm shocked. I understand, I figured this would happen, but I wanted to try out the other products. 3D1 is kind of the benchmark in the all-in-one, so everyone else has a long ways to go to catch up to them. Alright, now the truck is 100% done. I did the one step all over, but just to be on the safe side, I went back over it with 3D HD speed. Now we're taking a look at it, and you'll see on the bottom of the doors, probably looks like I didn't clean it, but those are all rock chips. This truck is a work truck, but now it's a good looking work truck, so I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm sure the customer is going to be happy. The customer happens to be a friend of mine. The truck turned out great. I'm very satisfied with it. It shines great, so I'm hoping I can talk him into taking better care of it. Alright guys, to conclude the testing, I'd have to say if I have to pick a winner, it's probably going to be 3D1. I only had to cycle it once on the polisher. I didn't have to try for a second step to try to get any more defects out. It did pretty well and it held its own at first pass. Second place, I'd probably go with the Griots Garage Fast Correcting Cream. I did have to do 2 cycles on it, but just looking at it in person, it did what it was supposed to do. I did have to use it twice on the polisher. Like I said, it did what it was supposed to do though. The only issue I have with the Griots is I had dusting, so if you can deal with dusting, go for it. And the Fast Correcting Cream is probably something you can go down the street at AutoZone and get. I know it's on AutoZone's website. My local store doesn't carry it, but it is on the website. Alright, as far as third place, I would say Menzerna, the one-step polish. It came out of the gate strong, you could visibly see it, but I guess the compound abrasives that were in there wore out pretty fast. It did start out fast, did not finish fast, so I'm guessing that abrasives in it probably wore out. And it moved on to the polishing phase and the protection phase faster than the 3D1 or the Griots. And fourth place, I would have to say Rupes Uno Protect. I really don't want to put that in fourth place. I think there is a place for this product. I just don't believe this product is made to get out the water spot etchings or the moderate defects. I think it's made more for light defects. I did throw it in there because I wanted to try out a Rupes product. I know people love Rupes products, so I wanted to throw it in there and see how it went. But this may have not been an apples to apples comparison throwing in the Rupes. It did alright, it shined, it polished up pretty good. It did some mild cutting on the etching, but it didn't cut them down well enough. So for that, I'd have to give it fourth place. But like I said, if you have some moderate or not so moderate defects on paint, like some water spots themselves that are not etched into the clear that you need a polish or a one step to go over real quick, you could probably go with the Uno Protect and it would probably take care of whatever you need. So I hate to throw anything bad out there on it. Like I said, it may not be an apples to apples comparison, not 100% sure. Alright guys, that's going to wrap this one up. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Also subscribe for future content. That's all I got for today. It's been kind of a lengthy video. I appreciate you hanging around and watching. Be safe, have a good day. Catch me for the next one.